Hey friends, it's Stylist Intel, and today I'm going to do my whole face with the palette 18. And this palette is fantastic because you can get 9 colors on the first layer, and you can get 9 big or up to 18 small on the lower layer. So we're just going to do our whole face with this. So if you'd like to watch, stay tuned. And we're going to just do a little bit of a layered makeup technique. So I'm going to start with my color corrector, which is on the very end of my palette. So I always put them in order of how I'm going to apply them on my face to make it easy. And so I'm just going to dab it in once. So you got some product on there, and I'm just going to use that first. Depending on the color and the softness of the tin, ooh, that's got lots. So that might be do my entire face is that double dap there. Okay, so I just dap that on, and then to my color corrector, I'm going to swirl that in. So when I've color matched you, I will have said where you need the color corrector or when we match you. But if you forget, and we do, it's wherever you have redness or dark areas or blemishes or hyperpigmentation on your face that you just want to even out. And with those little dabs, you can just see that we have evened out that color. Now with your color corrector, you can do your eyelids, or you might say you want to do that with one of your other highlight shades. So it's completely up to you. There's no right or wrong. And then, like I always say, when we're going to layer, we're going to use the Perfector. And now we've prepared our Perfector. So remember, we take this under a tap and we run it under the tap and wring it 3 times. It's getting wet and it'll enlarge in size. And then we want to put it in a towel or a microfiber cloth and wring it 3 times until it's damp. And then I just keep the tin it comes in and I set it on the top, and it just is not even damp. It's just cooler. And then because we don't want it to rub off all our makeup, and we don't want it to dampen our face. So with that first layer, I'm just going to color that I color corrected. I'm just going to use my Perfector to make sure there any excess sitting there I've removed. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to do contour, and I'm going to put it on with my finger. You can put it on with your finger or the end of like the detail brush or whatever, but just to sort of dot it on as you start learning this makeup is sometimes easier for placement. So this color is a Cola. It's the darkest one we have, and I just wanted to try it on my face to see what it's like. So we're trying it. So where you want to put it, it's under your cheekbone. So you're going to feel for the top of your ear, and you're going to go down your cheekbone, and you're just going to push it kind of underneath there. You're going to do the same on the other side. Now with contour, you're going to blend this in so it won't look that scary. And then we're going to dot it on the top of our forehead. Now, if you have a smaller forehead, you may use less contour and less bronzer. If you have a larger forehead, the extra shadows there that we give it will make our forehead look a little less large and a little less realistic. And then we want to go under our jawline. And then you can take like your pinky finger, put it in there, and just put a little line down your nose. And this will just give our nose a little more definition. Okay. And we will blend that in. And you can do the little end of your nose too there. So that's our contour. So then we're going to take, I like the detail brush. I just like the shape of this one. I like this end for doing highlight, and I like this end for blending and contour. And I just take this end, the flat end, and you can just push that against your face. And I'm just going to push this contour up into my cheekbone. Okay. And I'm going to push it into my hairline. Now, I haven't worn this contour before, but I thought because I'm tanned in the summer, I'm going to try it. I may think it's too dark, and it may blend in too dark, or it may show up fine. So I'm just trying it. A lot of these colors, you can experiment and wear more than one color, but to keep it simple, when you get color matched, will match you the best color, and then you have it. And if you want to then play with other colors, you're more than free to order them. Okay, so then I've blended that. I blend down my neck with the contour there. And then with my nose, I can just take the little bit and touch it and pat it. Or I can take this end and I can pat. And then we'll fix that with when we put our highlight shade on there. So now I'm going to take again, I'm going to then do my main shade. And again, I'm going to take the small end of my blush brush and I'm going to push it in there. And then now I'm going to stipple or dap it on, because I may have my color corrector underneath. So I'm not swiping in this product at all. I'm not rubbing it in like this. I'm just dapping it here and then I'm stippling it on my face. And I'm going to, with my main shade, primarily do my mask area. So under your nose and your chin and under your cheekbones and above your jawline, and probably the apples of your cheeks, because you're probably not going to put your blush there. You may do some on your forehead, depending on your forehead and what you like. We are going to put highlight in this triangle in our forehead, and we are going to put on bronzer also. So you may decide with one layer you don't need extra. So you just want to put the coverage where you need it and not where you don't need it. So again, you can grab the Perfector and you can just pounce this on your face wherever you need it, just wherever you applied the makeup, to make sure that you just don't have too much sitting there. Then for the highlight shade, I like where you like your brightness. So I like the brightness, and I may not have my mirror set up properly here, so I may not always be looking into my camera lens, because I'm trying to see myself in the camera and in a mirror, and so I think I need to reset this up. But for now, we're just gonna go forward and do this. So then you have your lightest highlight shade is this one, and I'm just gonna pounce this one in, and I'm gonna sort of do a heart between your eyebrows, above your eyes. I'm gonna do the line down my nose. I'm gonna do my Cupid's bow and some on my chin. And then I'm gonna do under my eyes, kind of in an inverted triangle shape. So a couple ways you can set this in. You can set it in with your Perfector. You can grab the smaller end of your blush brush again and pounce that on. We just want to dap that in and blend it with the other colors we have. And blend that all in there. And then I can take my Perfector and I can perfect that. So now that's all blended in really nice, and I have some nice highlight shades and I have some nice contour shades there. So you can see that. Okay, and you'll see that on your own face too as you get going. So then the next one I have here is the bronzer, and the bronzer that I have here is Heat Waves. I found that this one goes on really easily onto, it seems more creamy than my Bella bronzer. So it may depend on the product you get, but I just take the bronzer end of this brush, I kind of squeeze it together so it fits the tin, and I dap it in, and then you see how much I've got on there. So now I'm just gonna tap that on, because it does, like you can see how that went on so easily. So I'm gonna then tap it on better, but I'm gonna then put some under my chin first and get some more off this brush. Because I want, if my neck is lighter than my chest, I want to use my bronzer to even out that color. Then I'll go back to my forehead and I'll dust that on. And then you can come down with it onto your cheeks if you like. And wherever you want that touch of sunshine. So that looks really quite nice there. Okay, so now I'm going to grab and put on So I have some Illuminator here. I'm going to do my blush color first. So this one is Madrid. And I'm just going to put a little bit on my finger and dap it on the upper side of my cheekbone. And I'm staying away from the apples of my cheeks because I want my faces to lift more up. And I pounce that on there, and then I'm just going to blend that into my contour by dapping that, stippling, whatever word works, and dap that on like that. So that blends that in nicely. And then I'm going to take my Illuminator color, and we can just dap that. This one's a cream, and the creams have a really nice shimmer, you can see there, and the powders give more glow. So I also have the powder Illuminator. I have Photoshop in here, and I have it down here because sometimes you want more pounce than other times. Okay, so I have put my Illuminator on. The one other thing I want to do is I want to set under my eyes, because I do find that my eyes can be more oily, or I've covered them up for darkness, or it just seems to be an area that I really want to make sure that I've set my makeup there, and I don't want it to extra crease or anything. So I have already gone in with my Perfector after I've put my highlight color there and pounced that off and put it whatever. And then we have our Vanilla Dust setting powder. So I just tap that on my finger. It's very fine translucent, and I just tap that back under my eye. And I do that to both eyes. And I also do that on my lid, because I've prepped this then for my eyeshadow. I've put a little bit of one of my highlight colors there, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of this, and that just helps set that area. Okay, I'm going to take some of my Madrid, and then I'm going to take some of the Petal, which is a nice little pink, and it's more glossy than the Madrid, and just settle that up, and it just gives it a little bit more of a pop. Okay, so now I want to go to my second layer, which you have, and here I've put our Vanilla Dust on the second layer when I set up our palette, just so that you don't want your creams and your shadows to mix if at all possible. So I got that on the second layer, and I've also got my Photoshop, which is a powder, and then a variety of eyeshadows. And remember, because these are magnetic, I can swap these out if I have extra, but I just love the fullness. So I love this little line brush, if you got this with the spoolie on it and the little end for doing eyebrows. So in here I have, mine is Trust, but you might have Coal, Oak, Trust, Basic for your eyebrows depending. And then I can just take this line brush, because it gives the hair-like strokes, and feather this product into my eyebrows. When you start doing this yourself, it'll be so fast, because you'll just have your technique down. You have one palette. You'll know exactly what you want to do on a daily basis. And it literally ends up being 5-minute makeup. You can spend more time on it if you want to do more glam up, or you like more time to do your makeup. But if you need to dash and go, you can totally do an easy peasy fast routine and feel made up to leave the house. So those are your eyebrows. I like the spoolie end, as you saw, to brush up. And then we also have brow wax. And I keep my brow wax not in my palette ever. I keep it in its own little tin that it comes in, because it's waxy, and I just like that it comes out in its own little tin. So you can just take your setting spray, and if you want to set your eyebrows, just spray, rub it into your brow wax, and then you can set your brows. Testing myself. So what I want to do first is I want to do a base. I want to give myself some eye definition, And because I'm getting old, I have slightly hooded eyes. I want to take some darker above the crease to make my eyes look larger. So I am going to take, just because you're all going to have this in your kit, I'm going to take the same color I used for my eyebrows, which in my case is Trust. And I'm going to, so if my eyes were open, I am going to put a mark above where my eyes are. So that's not where my crease is, but it's going to where I'm going to pretend my crease is. And I'm going to rub that in. And then I'm going to take this and just do a little corner with this smudge end of this under. So I'm going to do that line. Okay. And I'm going to do the other eye. Same thing. So if you like doing your eyes some different way, you can stop this. If you want to try it this way, you can pause this video and play along, or you can just sit back and watch. Okay, so see how I can see that nice when my eyes are open and you can still see that color coming through, and it's given a little nice definition on the bottom too, which I quite like. So in here I have the brush cleaning tile. I like that in between when I go from a darker shade to a lighter shade, because then I don't transfer that back in. I'm going to go with Cafe just because I want to have that green also there. So I'm going to take Cafe and I'm going to fill Cafe in the rest of my lid and match up with that line. Okay, and I'm going to do the other side. And I'm going to take the fluffy end of the eyeshadow brush. I'm just going to blend that line in. So this eyeshadow is really pigmented, which I like. They're going to last you a long, long time. But I probably still have some of that Cafe on the end, and I'm going to then do the other half of my waterline that I didn't do before with that product. Just so I lightened that smudge underneath. And look how pretty that looks. Very simple. So I blend that on the top there too. Now, if you have a lighter color, you can put that under your brow, which I really like. Today, I'm going to just grab Photoshop, my illuminator, and I'm going to put the powdered illuminator under there. But I have like Sabrina, Cupcake, probably some of your other ones you can do under your brow also as a lighter one. So those. Okay, so I just want to place, so now with the Atlantic with the green, I just want to tap that onto my finger and I want to place it on my eyelid. I got distracted there because I had a timer go off to tell me that I have another appointment starting. And so I have to like get organized and speed this up. So there, I have Atlantic on there. And a shimmer one is just so pretty as a nice little finishing on there. So I got some green, but oh, I just really like that. So there, I have that. So now I can, if at all you feel like the insides here of your eyes are too dark, take your highlight color and dap it in there on both sides. And then just take your little Perfector and dap it. And then if you also have your illuminator, you can also put your illuminator a little in there, and that'll give you a little bit of a glow coming on there, and it'll lighten it right up. Okay, so I added some mascara, got that on. And so just a finishing touch for us is to add some finishing spray. And the easiest way for me, you can spray it on your face like this, but I really prefer just to spray my Perfector, kind of smear that into the sponge, and then take that and tap that on my face, and I get all of my setting spray on it that way, and then I'm good for the day. So ladies, that is your palette 18. So your double layer palette and putting on your face with it. So I hope that step-by-step instruction was helpful, that you can pause and watch that. Any questions, reach out. And until next time, live, love, learn, and laugh.